The battle between Sentomaru and Kizaru has erupted, both sides understanding each other's power well. For him, this uncle is a mentor, making it impossible to defeat him. However, Sentomaru's defensive strength can still buy time for Luffy's group. The monkey saw that his nephew remained strong as ever, and they continued to clash, shaking the surrounding area. However, the warships were still advancing non-stop. After receiving orders from their superiors, the vice admirals systematically landed to target the robots. The warships, seeing the enemies preparing to fire lasers, concentrated their firepower, shooting at the ground around the island to destabilize them. Just when it seemed everything would go smoothly from here, unexpectedly the sea monster's weapons emerged and began attacking the invaders. With its massive body, it easily sank a warship in seconds, and the others also charged into attack. The navy began to suffer heavy losses. Seeing this, a vice admiral equipped with steam weapons rushed in to eliminate the sea monsters. The biological robots on the shore also opened fire, only to be taken down unexpectedly. In terms of strength, each of them could completely stop a pacifista. The next target was the laboratory that held the Cypher Pole agents. The Straw Hat Pirates at this moment witnessed the scene, with the mechanical sea monsters and the navy engaged in battle. Feeling quite worried, Dr. Vegapunk believed that as long as Sentomaru continued to command the pacifista, the island's defense systems would be protected. However, right now he was also struggling against that strong opponent. After seeing Kizaru's face, everyone felt horrified. He was fighting right beneath them and could come here at any time. York heard this and happily told everyone they were all going to die soon. Zoro, not liking this, demanded she shut up and not cut him right now. Sanji and Brook began to recall the terrible memories at Sabodi Archipelago. At that time, they were unable to fight back because the admiral's strength was too great. Below, Sentomaru was still doing his best, launching a myriad of techniques, but all of them were dodge. Dr. Vegapunk could not believe that the kid was facing Kizaru. This battle was too brutal in many ways. So he hoped for nothing. Even if he ran away right now, he couldn't be blamed. The others also advised him to keep his spirits up. What they needed to do now was decode the password. The monkey at this moment demanded his nephew surrender, but he still tried to resist, dodging to minimize damage. Kizaru continuously kept his distance and fired, and Sentomaru truly did not want this fight. So he apologized to his uncle. He had promised Luffy already. Upon hearing this, Kizaru asked since when did he side with the pirates. The young man didn't care who it was as long as the Straw Hat crew was allies at present. The only desire right now was to take the person he was indebted to off this island. Running straight to retrieve his weapon, Sentomaru jumped in close and unleashed a powerful slash that cut his body in half. However, with his devil fruit powers, Kizaru easily recovered as if nothing had happened, and he began to remember the time they first met. At that time, the island's residents were continuously calling for the navy due to an attack by the wild bears, just as Dr. Vegapunk had created a new device to eliminate them. But when they arrived, they were confronted with the sight of an entire bear pack being taken down by a kid. They were very surprised at the boy's strength. They asked if he had defeated the bear herd, and Sentomaru replied that he had used sumo to tire them out. The villagers were very weak, so the boy lied that he hated them. But in reality, Sentomaru had been driven away. With nothing to eat, he had asked these people for work to earn money. Just as he spoke, his stomach growled, making Kizaru chuckle. Back then, Sentomaru was incredibly cute, and they loved him because it has proven to be powerful. Dr. Vegapunk invited the kid to be his bodyguard, and Sentomaru immediately agreed. However, to become even stronger, he needed a teacher. That year, the boy went to call Kizaru uncle, and asked how he could protect that old man. The golden monkey put his all into teaching that child everything. So now both sides had to fight like this. The young man continued to attack with a sumo move that caused Kizaru some pain. But his defensive abilities were not inferior to Sentomaru's. Thus, the admiral shot out extremely strong light energy to successfully take down his opponent. Everything in the area caught fire. After looking back at Sentomaru's body, he felt a bit heartbroken. Below was the pacifista control device, and Kizaru used it to command all the robots on the island to stop attacking the navy. Instead, they were to sink all the sea monster weapons. Receiving the new orders, they fired directly at the giant creatures attempting to attack the naval warship. Seeing this, everyone rejoiced because the landing plan had succeeded, and the battle situation was continuously reported to the five elders. He felt it was a waste to have to sink sea monster weapons. But if given a choice, the pacifista was still the top priority. Usopp at that time reported bad news to everyone, that Sentomaru had been defeated. And Vegapunk was very worried upon hearing this. Everyone did not think he was strong enough to be easily defeated by Kizaru. And Nami knew well that his personality would not show mercy and let it go. Tears began to fall on Vegapunk's face, wanting to quickly disable the defense system so that Sentomaru's efforts would not be in vain. The woman York triumphantly stated it was useless because she was also Vegapunk. Below, Kizaru was looking up. He was the light and light could completely penetrate the laser barrier. While the Straw Hat crew, who had previously been beaten severely by this old man, were very scared, he was extremely eager because it had been a long time since he last saw them. A beam of light shot straight up, piercing through all obstacles, and the ship-moving team was trying their best to run at full speed to execute the plan. Once the shield was down, they would be able to escape safely. So far, everything was going very well, and the two most relaxed people at the moment were Luffy and Bonnie, who were trying to stuff a ton of food into themselves with their bottomless stomachs. The girl thought that they should eat while they could, and Luffy said they couldn't fight with a hungry stomach, which left Frankie speechless with these two. Suddenly, the alarm sounded, making Lilith realize that there had been an intruder, and thus Kizaru successfully penetrated the shield. He remembered the important things that needed to be protected at all costs. First was the power plant. Second was York, and ideally, the good friend. However, it seemed that could not happen because the target to be eliminated was Dr. Vegapunk. Realizing that the Navy Admiral had infiltrated the dome, everyone began to panic. While Luffy's group was still outside, Usopp also tried to contact Frankie's group to know which way to avoid being targeted by a very strong enemy. The group deactivating the shield was trying their best to hurry as fast as possible. When suddenly Stussy saw Lucy in action and had to rush over. His target was the doctor, but she used her own body to shield him. Sanji, seeing this, immediately borrowed Nami's gun to trap the hostage. At the same time, he stated that that guy had abandoned him, and Zoro rushed in to attack, not letting him achieve his goal. Lucy had no choice but to turn and defend himself or he would be slashed. Our swordsman thought it was because Kizaru was an ally that he had turned on them. He also asserted that if the opponent was himself and the Navy Admiral, they would definitely be finished. Zoro was angry that he underestimated them so much. Both were very strong. But Zoro still had enough strength to push this guy outside, buying time for everyone. Both of them continued to fall down to prepare for the new battle. At the same time, Kizaru suddenly heard a strange noise. Turning to look, he discovered Vegaforce 01 was carrying the sunny ship of the Straw Hat crew away. No wonder he couldn't find their ship off the coast. The two people above were very anxious and asked the captain what to do now. But when Frankie turned around, he couldn't find Luffy anywhere. It turned out that after sensing the strong opponent, he had jumped down to intervene, greeting the Admiral lightly while looking at the young man in front of him. However, just a moment later he was struck in the face by the main character using incredible speed. The opponent thought it was indeed quite rude, but Luffy didn't care. He informed that they had become 100 times stronger compared to their encounter 2 years ago. Remembering the memory when Kuma was rescued by the Revolutionary Army from the Holy Land Mary Joie for a moment. He had just recovered when he immediately chose to leave despite everyone trying to stop him. With his Devil Fruit ability, he is heading towards Red Port, but unable to control his body. He crashes into a mountain and falls down. People in the area quickly recognize this unusual presence. They panic because Kuma has lost all humanity and become a slave of the Celestial Dragons. He does not stop there. He tries to climb back to the Holy Land as if searching for something. And soon, a group of soldiers is dispatched. They refer to Kuma as the invincible slave who has returned, and thus his gigantic body suffers a lot of damage from the soldiers and falls down. They continue to use chains to wrap around him to restrain him. Seeing that the Celestial Dragons seem quite pleased. Unfortunately, Kuma's will remains very strong and he continues to rise. He activates his Devil Fruit ability and blows away everything blocking his path. Seeing this scene, the master is very angry and calls him a shameless slave. After resting for a moment, the next opponent appears. The red dog Akainu receives news and immediately shows up to ask what Kuma is doing. First, the Revolutionary Army incident the day before. Today, things have turned out like this again. It's truly annoying. The level of destruction he has caused is unprecedented in this holy land. Seeing the presence of the fleet admiral, the soldiers breathe a sigh of relief. However, the celestial dragons dislike this and consider the soldiers useless and incapable of doing anything. By the way, they want to know what is happening right now. As yesterday they wanted to eat lobsters but received news that they were sold out. This is unprecedented. They want to know what is going on with the food supply in Mary Joieuse. They continue to order the fleet admiral to execute Kuma right after injuring him. He does not like to follow orders from those people. But he must act because if he cannot control it, it will be a big problem. Kuma still stands there panting from exhaustion. Akainu also finds it strange that someone who has lost all consciousness is acting on their own. He asks where the opponent intends to go and attacks directly. Kuma does not dodge and lets himself be hit. Blood still flows like a normal person, making the fleet admiral a bit surprised. Although he is hit, it is still not enough to stop Kuma's advance. He just rushes forward, ignoring the red dog's cries for help. Dozens of molten lava punches are thrown out but are absorbed, until he strikes his legs. He activates the ability to move his body to another place. Akainu angrily recalls the incident of Bonnie being captured on the burning island in the New World, listening to the news that the girl had escaped from the government. The fleet admiral felt a chill down their spine. But fortunately, everything had come to an end. She was extremely angry because they had turned her father into a robot, wanting everyone to pay for this. The red dog didn't care and told her to keep barking. But Kuma would never wake up. He had voluntarily become a weapon for the Navy. Bonnie did not believe it was true because her father would never abandon her. That fleeting thought made the red dog wonder where Kuma was going since he was just a puppet. There was no will or reason left. Returning to the current situation at Egghead, the Navy had controlled the situation thanks to the power of the pacifistas. The sea monster weapons were being destroyed one by one and sinking to the bottom of the sea. The battle between the Golden Monkey Kizaru and Luffy in Gear 4 was still ongoing. The Straw Hat Captain unleashed extremely fast and strong punches, but most were blocked. The old man remained extremely calm, wanting to wear down the main character's stamina first. Luffy continuously attacked with various techniques. The Golden Monkey was also a bit surprised and said, "Now I understand why he could defeat Kaido. I admit that Luffy is much stronger than before. But unfortunately, his abilities are not average." Wanting to know why pirates like the main character wanted to protect Vegapunk so much, Luffy thought that question was, "What I ask you? Why do they want to kill him?" After hearing this, Kizaru seemed to have understood the problem. The Golden Monkey countered Straw Hat's attack and said that he didn't want to kill him. The rubber-brained boy continued to punch, but this time the opponent was serious. With the power of the devil fruit, Kizaru flew high and looked down, saying that he absolutely did not want to kill that friend, because he had known Vegapunk for a long time. However, justice still had to be enforced. Immediately firing a very strong beam of light at Luffy so that he wouldn't interfere in this matter anymore. That movement was too fast for the main character to dodge and he ended up being stuck and flew straight, his body also crashing into the robot carrying the sunny ship. Kizaru successfully used one arrow to kill two birds. But in his mind, he also recalled the moment Vegapunk created the giant robot. Now it had been destroyed like this. What a pity. Frankie's group was walking when suddenly they got shot and fell from above. Luckily they were still okay. Lilith, who was sitting inside controlling it, thought he had died. Then turning around saw the robot's body showing signs of exploding. She hurried outside and told Bonnie and Frankie to run away quickly or they would all die now. Vegaforce 01 immediately caused a terrifying explosion, blowing away the remaining 3 people. Witnessing the scene before her, Lilith was also sad because this was their dream robot. But more importantly, Frankie wanted to know if the sunny ship was affected. Bonnie had also seen Luffy crash into the barrier earlier and immediately informed him. Just as she finished speaking, the Golden Monkey appeared right in front of him to greet him. They were quite angry with this old man, but he didn't care. Bonnie had grown a lot. Kids these days develop fast. Seeing her stand up, the Golden Monkey guessed she also needed to deal with something with him. The order to eliminate Vegapunk, which she hated, had been issued, but now she no longer considered it a target. Bonnie just grabbed a few things and rushed to fight to the death but failed. Kizaru simply used his devilish powers to dodge and threw her a punch that made her head slam into the barrier just like Luffy. Frankie witnessed this and was extremely angry, immediately using his ultimate move to threaten her. The Golden Monkey didn't want to stay here playing with them anymore. so he teleported to another place. Lilith seemed to know what the opponent's purpose was, so she asked her friend to call the whole team inside. In the control room, Usopp also heard the sound of the wind and asked how the situation outside was. It's such an explosion. Frankie is worried about everyone inside, so he knows they're still okay. At this moment, Dr. Vegapunk has also successfully decoded the defense system. But after this stage, it's really exhausting. York is angry because this group of geniuses is too troublesome. Sanji also asks if they can leave right now. The old man smiles and replies that he has kept everyone waiting for a long time, asking them to bring the luggage from the second floor up to the ship because it is very important. Frankie outside continuously urges everyone to hurry up because there's not much time left. The old man also says that the shield can be destroyed at any moment, asking the robot friend if he has moved Vegaforce 01 and the Sunny ship to the back as planned. Just as he finishes speaking, they immediately receive a response from Golden Monkey. The appearance of this person indicates that the plan out there has failed. He also reaffirms to the group that escaping from here is impossible. Everyone sees that this person is their adversary and is extremely confused and shouts loudly. They ask him when he arrived here and where Luffy is. Brook is very worried because the people here are not a match for this old man. The old friend also asks if the recent explosion was caused by him. Kizaru confirms it was, implying that their giant robot in the dream has disappeared. However, the Golden Monkey wants them to understand that this is very difficult, and he does not want to prolong it any further. Before he could do anything, another explosion suddenly occurs, shaking the entire area. It comes from above the shield along with the widening eyes of the main character. After being hit, Luffy transforms into the Sun God Nika form. His body also hurts quite a bit after colliding with the shield. Luffy's laughter echoes through every corner, leaving the Golden Monkey confused as to how. Outside, the main character has transformed into a giant to help his teammates. The young man runs like the wind toward his opponent. Frankie and Lilith can't even tell what just flew by. The sound coming from the main character is getting closer, but then suddenly a giant hand grabs Kizaru's body. He doesn't react at all because he only feels his body lifted for a second. The puzzling thing is why that crazy person's body is so huge. But as he gets closer, he hears no sound. The friends below look up at their captain's giant size and widen their eyes. He laughs and says it's too hot. Kizaru knows he played with that crazy guy, so he is a bit worried. Luffy thanks God for still being alive. He thinks that flying through the shield twice would kill him. So the battle between Luffy and Admiral Kizaru has truly begun.